Alright guys, just wanted to record a quick video going over all the builds and how the league went and everything, because obviously, as you can see, yeah, you might get this video after it's already over, but the Babython is coming to a close. It's been pretty wild. We hit almost 5,000 subscribers already. Crazy amount of support. Thank you so much. You guys gave us a really great head start in life with our new baby boy, so thank you again. But anyway, that's not the topic of the video. So, I'm gonna go over the builds. So obviously, we started with the Bannerman. Now, this guy was supposed to be the original Bannerman. He was just supposed to hit level 95, maybe, farm some Ubers, and, you know, get the banner support, but we didn't know where it came from. But, obviously, as we found out later, it comes from Wave 15 Simulacrum. So, originally, this was a bow build, and I'll show you his gear real quick. As you can see, I was running with this new unique. It wasn't very good. It just dropped really early. But you can see we had some pretty basic, you know, bow gear setup going on. Nothing, wasn't bad, wasn't great. But, here's the problem, right? Bow builds don't handle Simulacrum very well. You need a lot of, like, defense and a lot of damage. It had some okay damage, but the defense was nowhere near what was required to do Simulacrum. So we had to do a whole build pivot to retaliate. And as you can see, I am missing a belt. I did end up getting a Raslathas later, which is very nice. This would obviously be an insane belt for this character. But, yeah, this Retaliate Glad was more than tanky enough to handle Simulacrum. The damage was very, like, blah. I never really got the damage, like, there. But thanks to this Azadi's Crest, I had some crazy, like, 1 to 2 million EHP value, and I had just enough defense to not get one-shot. So, I was kind of unkillable in Sim. Well, not unkillable, but I was extremely tanky in Sim. And then I could just beat it through attrition, right? I could just beat the bosses through just sheer attrition. But this worked really well at getting my first Bloodsoaked Banner. Now, the reason why I didn't respec this character and have a level 99 banner guy is because I'd already set this character up at level 99, and I just wanted to, like, it feels better to, like, you know, start from scratch. So, given that this was a relatively complete character, I set it to the side, which ended up being a very good call, by the way, because it turns out this character was insane in more ways than one. The name, by the way, Subgoal, so don't judge me. But this banner character is definitely the build of the league for me. It might not necessarily be the most meta or, you know, the most broken, right? Not like the packed build, which I'll go into. But this character had it all. It's extremely fast, extremely good at bossing, extremely good at mapping, extremely tanky. It had everything, and it felt like a complete blast to play. It was a very nice playstyle. You just run through the maps pressing banners. The banners are screen wide. You get inbuilt explosions into the build thanks to Aura and Terror. It was just incredible. It had defense, suppression. I got ailment immunity in the end as well. Stun immune. It had everything. Like, this is such a good build. Honestly, one of the best builds I've ever made. I was so happy with it. We even managed to fix the clunkiness somewhat. You know, we just scaled our Warcry speed a bunch. We got Warcry speed on the Amulet, on the Boot Implicit. We even Path to Admonisher. So we got so much Warcry speed. Even linking in our main links, we linked Urgent Orders just to make it smoother. And with enough Warcry speed, the left click Enduring Cry, which was the tech that basically fixed the build. Because before I played this build, my chat was telling me, not a good build, does not work very well. You run too fast. That was an odd complaint, but I understood immediately. You run too fast, which basically means you run out of range of your banners, and your banners need time to apply their dot. So you can't really map on it properly. You have to, like, press the banner and wait, which is really bad, right? But I was like, hang on, Enduring Cry, just play, it doesn't have to be Enduring Cry, obviously, but just run Corrupting Cry on left click. You basically get that same auto bomber, you know, you get that same, like, auto walking playstyle, and it has the added benefit of giving you this little, like, delay, so you stand in your banners always. And it sounds clunky, and it kinda is. I'm not gonna lie, it kinda is. But it offsets that, you know, crazy 300 movement speed you get from Defiance Banner. and it just fixed the build entirely. It was amazing. So yeah, this build was able to do all the content of the game: mapping, bossing, heisting, lab running. It did everything. It was 10 out of 10. It's my favorite build of the league personally. But this also led to me getting an Acceleration Shrine belt. Now, I actually got 2 belts and I made 2 builds with them. So my 2 big drops of the league were an Acceleration Shrine belt and a Headhunter belt. So my first idea with Acceleration was to run Spark. You get projectile speed and action speed, and I figured that's going to feel really, really good on Spark, right? And the other build was I got a Headhunter. So I wanted to run some sort of like Explodey Chieftain, which ended up being the Minion Pact build. Now, originally I had decided, you know what? It's a Shrine League, it's a Shrine Belt League, right? So I made the Spark character first. Now, this Shrine Belt is incredibly fun to play with. I don't think the problem was with the belt. The belt was 11 out of 10. The problem was the Spark. So Spark itself is not really that good. Like, if it wasn't for the Acceleration Shrine buff, I don't think there'd be any reason to play Spark right now. It's kind of been nerfed enough to the point where it's like very blah. But nonetheless, I wanted to make it work, and I figured with the Energy Blade tech with Fireball Ghost Ride, it would have enough damage. I did not think damage would be a problem, and I was kind of half right. The damage is good, but because of the nature of the build, right? So this is a life stacking build. It kind of gets exponentially tankier and does higher damage the better gear you have. So I think what I was leaning towards going with was a focused amulet. I was going to get a focused amulet with helicals or manifolds and missed it and Calendra's Touch it because I actually got a Calendra's Touch card. And I was going to do all of that. And eventually I think this build would be insane. But because of the SSF limitations, obviously getting even one Calendra's Touch card, even if you have one already, is really hard. Getting Reflecting Mists and Locks, and it's just getting it to the point where it would feel broken, which is what I was aiming for. I wanted this to be my build of the league. Didn't end up coming to play. Just didn't work. So that's why we kind of shelved this character ultimately. But we had some okay gear at the end of the day. You know, we crafted okay gear. You know, obviously we had the Gull, Falborn, Wrathpith, Accel belt. We had the core pieces going. I managed to get crit damage on my Spark. If this was pinpoint, if I had have been really lucky and I had a hit pinpoint on here, I would have been able to run Awakened Fork. Because the only time this build felt good was before I swapped to this pinpoint overloaded intensify setup. This support basically ruined the build for me because it gave me double damage, which is fantastic, but I had to drop Awakened Fork for it and run Pierce. And that Awakened Fork was the only time this build felt really good. Like, not DPS wise, but clear wise. So I think in Trade League, I would pop Awakened Fork in here. Maybe, you know, and I think it would be fine. I think that would have fixed a lot of problems with the build, but it is what it is. And I did decide to shelve it. A bit sad, but I'm glad I did, because I was able to try what I think is the most broken build of the league. This BV Pact minion thing. So, if you're not familiar with Minion Pact, which you probably will be at this point, but Minion Pact sacrifices about 3% of your minion's life to gain that spell extra damage. BV can actually snapshot that damage. As long as you don't let the Blade Vortex fall off, as long as you keep refreshing it, you keep that damage. So, the question is, how much damage do you get from this support? Well, it's 3% of a number. Now, the clever community members were able to find, at first it was just marionettes, right? And I think that's what GGG balanced this support around, because with marionettes, this build would have maybe 4 million DPS. Very balanced, I would say. Marionettes, specters you find from Ritual, and they revive themselves. So the idea would be, you sacrifice them to do damage, and they revive after, you know, a couple seconds, and you can keep that going throughout the map. But thanks to Blade Vortex, we can snapshot, which means as long as we're refreshing, we can use any minion. So what's the next best minion that we could think of? Well, that was Meat Sacks. Now, Meat Sacks are 3 times more damage, which already puts me from 4 mil to 12 mil, right? And already, that's kind of broken. 12 mil Blade Vortex with, like, really, like, SSFable gear. Already pretty broken, right? However, there's another Spectre that randomly is not even a ritual Spectre. It comes from the Act 9 Carcass boss, if you're familiar with the Scorpions that come during the intermission phase, and they have double the life of a meat sack. So now we're looking at over 20 million DPS from the 4 million that GGG proposed, basically. So it's doing 6 times more damage than GGG thought we would be doing with the support, which is just very broken. And obviously we combine this with Chieftain for lots of defense, lots of pops, Blade Vortex playstyle, and I mean, even with, again, not the perfect gear, like my gear has a long way to go, build's broken. Now there's a few variations of this. Obviously I ended up going with Headhunter because that's all I had, but people do Diamond Shrine with this build for like a lot more damage. Like this build can do hundreds if not billions of DPS if you scale it right in softcore trade. Manny, the guy that I was following along, another SSF streamer, he had a Mage Blood and he was making it work really well. I did Headhunter, no regrets here. For breach mapping and Legion and everything, this was 11 out of 10. Like absolutely the most broken build of the league, most ridiculous gameplay I've had in a long time. And it's super tanky, that's the beauty of it. You know, you get capped block, you can even get life on block if you were lucky enough to craft a shield like that. You got lots of regen because I'm running some Warcries, and I have invested a bit into that. I've got a Warcry wheel here and a Warcry Anoint with a nice 5-link setup with the new coins. So, you know, I have a really nice Warcry setup for more damage, defense, and speed. And then the Headhunter just makes it stupid. Like, as you can imagine, Breach Headhunter Beyond is just silly gameplay. So yeah, this was the strongest, most broken build of the league for me, but ignoring like literally Pact being broken, the banner build for me was my build of the league. So but yeah, I'm glad I got to play this build. I only played it for 2 days, but 2 days is all I needed to hit almost 99 and have a blast with the build. So very happy with the build. But yeah, anyway, overall, talking about Mirage itself, I hope this league goes core already. I'm not sure in what way it should go core, because obviously it's so strong and so impactful that you might not want it to be core like as a Scarab or an Oath or something, because it would be mandatory. It's a multiplier to everything, so you can't be forced to run it, right? So maybe it makes sense to be added as a core league mechanic similar to the Wildwood, where every now and then the Mirage spawns and it just duplicates your whole map. So maybe 1 in every 20 maps you duplicate the whole map, and then, you know, you get all access to all those cool, like, you know, rewards. And maybe they'll have to tune those rewards to be more common, I'm not sure, but that's what I imagine will happen. Because, yeah, otherwise it's just going to be mandatory because it's so impactful and so amazing that everyone's going to run it for everything almost, because this league mechanic is extremely rewarding. But in a good way, in a good way. It's not like Affliction Broken where one league mechanic overshadowed everything. This is a multiplier, but that makes it really good. Like, just being a multiplier is a really good way of solving the mechanic being good or bad. You know, it doesn't have to stand on its own 2 legs. It can kind of be propped up by things like Breach or Boxes or, you know, whatever, Legion, right? But yeah, no, yeah, very good league for me though. Happy with everything. You know, we had good fun farming the belts. We even managed to get a couple good belts, so yeah. GG's. Now, I will be taking a break for about 2 weeks, so I'm not sure when this will get posted, but I'll be taking a bit of a break. I will be back though, and whether or not I return to the league will depend on how I'm feeling and how everything's going. Maybe I'll do a fresh start, maybe I'll keep going on SSF, maybe POE 2. I mean, POE 2 is not too far away as well. We're getting that announcement in a month, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, not gonna make any promises as to what I do when I come back, but I'm just saying I will come back and we will keep blasting. So yeah, anyway, again, hope you guys had fun following along with the build progression in SSF and the Babython and all that stuff. Hope you guys had and continue to have a good league. Obviously I gotta go dad gaming, so I won't be able to play too much in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, anyway, I'll peace out. Good luck, have fun.